All right, yo, what's happening to everybody out there? It's your boy CJ. This is the CJ Curry Show. It's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks make it daily fantasy easy by allowing you to select anywhere from 2 and as many as 6 of your favorite superstars from your favorite sports. You combine them, you decide whether you want to go for more or less on their projections, and you can win up to 25 times your money over on PrizePicks. If you don't play yet, 100% instant deposit match. Use code Curry. Get started today. I've left a link down in the description for you below. Guys, there is a lot of, first of all, a lot of NBA games today. 13 game NBA slate. So lots of different prop options, lots of different ways we could go. But one other thing that I've noticed is that PrizePicks hasn't been bumping anything this morning. I think they're asleep at the wheel. Somebody over at PrizePicks headquarters is snoozing on a Sunday. Okay, so we're going to capitalize on this. There's a ton of value right now using the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. We're going to locate that value. We're going to try to get these picks in before the bumps start happening here. Let's take advantage, you and me together. But before we do that, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Listen, YouTube's put me in jail recently because I took some time away from creating content. They don't want me to get the message out to you people. I think I'm being censored. I think I'm being shadow banned. No, not really, but basically I got to get back in the good graces of the algorithm. So you subscribing with those notifications turned on guarantees that you get my content as soon as it's posted, as soon as I go live, it's going to be sent to your mobile device. All right. And also slap that like button. That tells the YouTube algorithms that you like what I'm doing here on these videos, these live streams, these shows. Okay. Make sure you're doing those things for me. And let's go ahead and get into today's giveaway, because we got to give away a risk-free 2-pick power play based on the comments from the last show. In case you're new here, every time I go live, every time we do one of these shows here, I give away a risk-free 2-pick power play on PrizePicks. Basically, you get both picks right, go 2 for 2. You get $100 added to your PrizePicks account. So I'm giving away one of these every single show. So all you have to do to get qualified and enter to win, be a subscriber, like today's video, and then once today's show ends, go to the comments section, leave a comment with your favorite pick, prop, play of the day. Maybe it's just you saying something nice like, "Hey CJ, sweet beard, bro." Whatever you want to do, guys. Just go to the comment section, leave a comment. So let's go ahead and pick a winner from our last show, which was Friday afternoon. I believe we did one of these. We had a total of 19 unique comments here. 19 unique comments. So let's go ahead and hit the start button here. It's going to randomize this. Let's try to get... Oh, it picked me. It picked me. But of course, I'm not going to let that fly. We're going to pick another winner here. Let's pick somebody who's not me and who has not won recently. We're trying to spread the love, get a risk-free 2-pick to everyone out there. Christian Frazier, I don't think you've won recently. Could be wrong, but Christian says he's loving my hat. Hey, Christian, I appreciate you, my dude. You're always tuning in. You're always leaving comments. You're always supporting the channel. So I couldn't think of a better winner than you. Christian Frazier. What you got to do now, my friend, is you got to send me a DM. You can DM me on Twitter at Curry the Creator. You can kind of see it on the banner below me, at Curry the Creator on Twitter, or jump in our Discord, free Discord, down in the description of today's video. Either which way, shoot me a DM with your PrizePicks email address. I'm about to send a mass email over to PrizePicks with everybody's recent wins, and we'll get all you guys who are waiting on your 2-pick power play taken care of here shortly, okay? So congratulations to Christian. Now all you got to do is get both of those picks right, and then you can win yourself $100. Like I said, giving away one of these every single day. Tell a friend, family member, somebody you care about who plays on PrizePicks. If they're looking for some promo credits, I'm the plug. I'm the guy that's going to deliver the goods. All right, gang. Shout out to everybody who's joining me this morning. We've got a lot of folks up in here. We got Roy in the building. Pesos here. B. Don. Let's start the week. We're starting it on a Sunday, I guess. Some people say the start of the week starts on a Monday. We're starting it on a Sunday with a 13-game banger of an NBA slate. I already released an MLB video with 6+ EV well-projected picks. Guys, go check out that video if you haven't yet. If you're looking for some baseball plays, I got those too. Check out today's video I posted earlier today. That's why I say turn notifications on, or else you're going to miss out on some value. We got Michael Johnson. Shout out to you. High Flyers in the building. Jermaine, I see you. You flexing me. I got to flex back at you to let you know that I care. Jide's in the building. Thanks for being here, Jide. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Yeah, it's the start of a new month. If you want to jump into Patreon, just $20 a month, less than 70 cents per day. Guys, I'm posting plus EV winning picks. We had about a... gosh, I don't know, 65 to 70% hit rate last month on strictly NBA picks. Now that we got MLB, we're going to be doing some MLB and some NBA as we get into the NBA playoffs. So it's a great time in PrizePicks. A lot of helpful folks in there. We've got a sweet little community, very family friendly, no egos. All right, we're all just there trying to get to the money. And I post daily cheat sheets to help you with your NBA picks, your MLB picks. I'm posting plus EV plays. I'm doing more giveaways for Patreon members exclusively. So I think it's well worth just $20 a month. I'm giving more than anybody that I know one man can give. All right. Josiah, shout out to you. Games on games today. Yeah, lots of MLB, lots of NBA. Mr. Ruiz says Sunday, fun day. Let's go. Divine Truth, Allah, peace. Peace back at you. Todd, shout out to you. Jonathan, flexing. I see you flexing out there. Thanks for joining me. Dave, Caesar, Everyday Fantasy, Harley's Joker. Do we comment on the video or live video? So Harley, whenever I end today's live stream, a replay gets automatically uploaded to YouTube. Go to the replay. of this show that you're watching right now and comment in the comment section. So once I end this and we end the show, a replay goes up on YouTube. Go there. That's the comment section that I pull these winners from, okay? So hopefully that clears things up for you. So we got our winner. All right, now we're going to move into today's 13-game NBA slate. There's a lot to talk about. The games get started here in less than 1 hour, starting with Toronto and Charlotte. Guys, as far as the Raptors go, Gary Trent Jr. already ruled out for this game. No Will Barton either, so they're going to be kind of thin at the point guard / shooting guard / small forward position, the wing, all right? So you're going to probably see more Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby. You're going to see some Banton probably, some Malachi Flynn possibly. All right, but I think they're going to really ride their starters hard and try to put the Charlotte Hornets away early here. It is a 14-point spread. This one does have a ton of blowout risk. Somebody brought it to my attention, shout out to Roy, that it is Pascal Siakam's birthday. So if you guys believe in birthday narratives, well, Pascal Siakam's birthday is today, and maybe Pascal Siakam has himself a big game. But for me, I'm going to probably look at this as a first half only game with a 14-point spread. We know the Charlotte Hornets at 26-52. They are in full tank mode. They don't really have any aspirations to win any more games, I would say. Terry Rozier is out. Martin out. Gordon Hayward, game time decision, more close to doubtful than probable. PJ Washington, game time decision. Something happened weird with PJ the other day. He was like the only vet that was starting for the Charlotte Hornets. I think he played 1 quarter and then ended up sitting out the rest of the game, I think. Could be wrong there. Dennis Smith Jr. and Kelly Oubre, both game time decisions as well. I'm sure they'll come up with a reason and excuse for those guys to sit out. But stay tuned with the news as we head toward tip-off at 1 p.m. on that one. 3:30 brings us a good matchup between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Chicago Bulls. 229-point total. Not a bad total. 3-point spread. As far as injuries go, Steven Adams still out. Nothing real impactful outside of that one. Chicago's going to be pretty much fully healthy, so you're going to have both of these teams pretty much ready to go, okay? Chicago's still kind of fighting for an Eastern Conference playoff spot. They're sort of right there on the bubble, right on the fringe of being out of the playoffs, I believe. So moving on to the 3:30 tip-off between Portland and Minnesota. Guys, speaking of teams that have pulled the plug on their regular season, that is the Portland Trail Blazers in a nutshell. No Simons, Nurkic, Little, no Jeremy Grant, no Damian Lillard. All those guys are shut down. So you're going to see guys like Skylar Mays, Shaden Sharp, Matisse Thybulle, Trendon Watford, Drew Eubanks. Shout out to Drew Eubanks. He covered his points prop of 9.5 in the first half against the Sacramento Kings the other night. That could be another good look tonight. I think he's still at 9.5 today. Going up against Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, they've got a lot of guys who are game time decisions. Anthony Edwards being one of them. Karl Anthony Towns being the other one. Naz Reid ruled out. So this one's got a total of 224, but they expect the T-Wolves to blow the brakes off of the Portland Trail Blazers. 17-point spread. If you want to play any game or props from this game, maybe first half only is the way to go once again. Moving on down here, another 3:30 tip-off between the Utah Jazz and Brooklyn Nets. The Utah Jazz have had their own share of injuries lately. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, pretty much mainstays recently on the injured list. Lauri Markkanen's kind of been in or out. Today he's listed as a game time decision. Not sure if he's going to go. Not sure if he's going to sit. But nonetheless, Brooklyn, 8.5-point favorites. This could be another one of those games that turns into a butt whooping where Brooklyn just beats the brakes off of the Utah Jazz and ends the music, so to speak. But a 229.5-point total, not a bad total between these two ball clubs. Then we get into a 6 o'clock game. So it goes from 3:30. We got a lot of front-loaded afternoon games. We get a little break in the middle of the afternoon to watch some baseball. And then 6 o'clock brings Dallas at Atlanta. This is probably the game I'm most looking forward to. We got draft classmates, Trae Young versus Luka Doncic. And of course, we've got Kyrie Irving, DeJounte Murray. A lot of star power in this game. The total here is huge, 246 points between these two teams with just a 3-point spread. It favors the Atlanta Hawks. So sky high total, just a spread of 3. This one has all the makings of fireworks when it comes to playing overs, when it comes to playing fantasy scores. There should be a lot of stats accumulated between both of these ball clubs. As far as injury news goes, DeAndre Hunter's the big one here for Atlanta. Although he's not one of the major players on this team, he is a starter. He is ruled out. He will not play today. So you'll probably see either Sadiq Bey or Bogey Bogdanovic move into the starting lineup at that small forward spot. Moving on, 6 o'clock brings us Washington at New York. Wizards, man, they're strapped. for star power here. I mean, no Bradley Beal, no Kyle Kuzma, no Monty Morris, no Kristaps Porzingis. Their four best players in that starting lineup are all out today. So it's going to be Daniel Gafford, Denny Adija. You saw Corey Kispert in the last game have himself a pretty good game against my Orlando Magic. DeLon Wright and Goodwin. All right, that's your starting five for Washington. They're probably going to get smoked tonight by the New York Knicks. Even though the Knicks won't have Julius Randle, I'm not worried about it, okay? They're 12-point favorites, 223-point total. This is probably a game that I don't have a whole lot of interest in, but Quentin Grimes has been red hot. We saw Jalen Brunson absolutely cook in that last game, so Brunson obviously is going to probably be one of the top plays of the day, going up against the likes of Goodwin and DeLon Wright in that Washington Wizards backcourt. Detroit at Orlando, another game with a big spread, 10.5 points. You're going to notice this is a theme here. There's a lot of teams that are tanking at this time of the year, and for that reason, a lot of these spreads are going to be double-digit 10 or more point spreads. That is the case here with Detroit visiting Orlando. 225-point total, but a 10.5 point spread. We know the Pistons at 16-61 want to lose basketball games. They're not necessarily trying to win at this point. They're tanking for Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson, but I think Victor Wembanyama would be the better catch for them. As far as injuries go, nothing real crazy happening on the Orlando Magic side. Same injuries for Detroit. It's going to be Hayes, Ivy, Livers, Bagley, and Wiseman, your starting five for the Pistons. Moving on here, San Antonio at Sacramento. San Antonio, another one of those teams at 19-58 who would love to get their hands on Victor Wembanyama. Who wouldn't at this point? So no Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Kim Birch is out. You're probably going to see Keldon Johnson sit as well. Romeo Langford, Bates Diop also listed as game time decisions. Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott, game time decision here as well. Matthew Dellavedova, the only injury for the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento 17-point favorites, my friends. 244-point total, but 17-point spread. Blowout city. Please be careful with these games that are expected to blow out. Superstars like a Domantas Sabonis, a De'Aaron Fox may not be out there in the fourth quarter if this game gets out of hand by the end of the third quarter, okay? So take first half only props if you really want to take anything from this game with a high total of 244. Moving on to 7 o'clock, the Los Angeles Lakers versus another team who is in full tank mode. Here we go again. 236.5 point total, but an 11.5 point spread is favoring the Los Angeles Lakers. So Houston probably going to get blown out here. LeBron James, game time decision. AD, game time decision, but more likely to play than not. You'll probably see Anthony Davis out there. The Lakers still fighting for their playoff lives at 39-38. So I could expect LeBron to go and give it all he's got to try and get the Lakers back into the postseason. So moving on from that one, Phoenix at OKC, 7 o'clock tip-off, 237 points with a 5.5 point spread. No injuries, thank heavens. A spread that's actually competitive at 5.5. Thank heavens for that as well. You're going to see each team here full ready to go. Kevin Durant making his return to OKC, the team where he kind of grew up right before our very eyes, right? You also got Chris Paul, former Oklahoma City Thunder himself. So you got a little bit of revenge narrative or homecoming narrative, if you want to call it that. So maybe KD ends up balling out. I really like this matchup for DeAndre Ayton, though. Going against the undersized front court with the Williams boys, I think Ayton could be in for a good night tonight. 8 o'clock brings us Indiana at Cleveland. 231 points. Guys, it's a 12.5 point spread. Another double-digit spread here. Be careful of these potential landmines. I'm just warning you again here because it's a scary-looking slate so far. Love the total. Don't love the spread. Halliburton, Duarte already ruled out for Indiana. Miles Turner's listed as a game-time decision. Would not surprise me one bit if they sat the veteran big man. And then speaking of veteran bigs who might sit out tonight, Jared Allen on the other side of this game listed as a game time decision. We've already seen Isaac Okoro's status be ruled out. Okay, so no Isaac Okoro. Speaking of revenge narrative, Karis LeVert, once upon a time an Indiana Pacer, right? Maybe he looks to have a good game tonight against his former squad. Moving it on to the 8 o'clock. Philadelphia, Milwaukee Bucks game. Guys, this is must-see TV. This is probably the most exciting game. You're looking at what could be a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals here. Philadelphia at Milwaukee. It could be 236.5 points with a 5-point spread favoring the Bucks right here. Looks like all the stars are going to come out and hopefully shine bright. I'm talking about Joel Embiid, James Harden. Then on the other side, obviously Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. So both teams stocked, locked, and ready to go for this one. And then the last game of the night, the Golden State Warriors. This one tips off at 8:30. No 10 o'clock or later games here for our East Coast friends like myself. So we're going to see all these games, hopefully, in their entirety. 234.5 points, 2.5 point spreads favoring the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, game time decision. Not really sure if he's going to play or not, but it looks like Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and KCP are all probable tonight. Still no Andrew Wiggins for Golden State. He's the biggest piece of injury news of all. So that is it, guys. 13 NBA games. Slap the like button if you're pumped for some MLB and some NBA tonight. Lots of different ways to go. I'll be posting cheat sheets for all leagues, MLB and NBA, to help you with your player prop projection selections. Bars. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get into some of these plays today. We've done our rundown of the slate. We kind of know what to expect. Now we're going to be using the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. As I mentioned, it seems like the folks at PrizePicks might be asleep at the wheel. There's a lot of value here. I mean, just right here alone, you're seeing plays of 53, 54, even up as high as 59% on Pascal Siakam's free throw makes. Those are your chance to hit percentage provided by Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. This tool is probably the single most important tool that you could have if you're a PrizePicks player. Now, it does work for other sites, Underdog and some of these other ones. But for PrizePicks especially, it is fantastic. Why is this tool important? Because you've seen PrizePicks bump lines up, bump lines down, right? This tool allows you to get in on these picks before the bumps happen. You could be part of the cool kids club who gets a pick before it gets bumped, rather than having to take the bump on a player or a prop that you're really liking. So if you want to get started with this, guys, I've left a link down in the description below. $5 off your first month when you use code Curry. Get in with the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer before the bumps happen. That's what it's all about, getting that value, right? So check it out. Down in the description, you'll find a link. All right, taking a look at the tool here. We got a few props already popping off. We've got, as I mentioned, Pascal Siakam's free throw makes at 4.5. Seeing him at 5.5 on the sports books. 59% chance for Pascal Siakam to go over 4.5 free throw makes. I don't really have a ton as far as projections go on free throw makes. Let me see if I've got anything. In fact, maybe I can get you a projection. Pascal Siakam free throw makes. So I got it projected at like 4.58 rather, on a line of 4.5 on PrizePicks. So, I mean, that could be an option for you. It is Pascal Siakam's birthday. Spicy P's celebrating another trip around the calendar here for, you know, he's 1 year older. He's 1 year older. So maybe you take the over on his free throw makes. That could be an option for you. We got Cameron Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets at 5 rebounds under. They're saying go under. 54% chance that he stays under 5 boards. That could be a plus EV play. Let's pull some projections up here on, I'll call him Killer Cam, because he's killed me. Every time I seem to take this guy, he sells me down the river. But today against the Utah Jazz, he's projected for 4.6 rebounds. Guys, his line sitting at 5. So they're suggesting you take the under at 5. Projected for 4.6. He's a pretty big betting favorite to go over 4.5, but also a big betting favorite to stay under 5.5. So PrizePicks has kind of split the difference here, offering Cam Johnson's rebounds at 5. Everyday Fantasy coming through with an alert. He says that PJ Tucker or PJ Washington. There's 2 PJs playing today. It's probably Washington, right? PJ Washington. I would imagine the Charlotte Hornets would find a reason to bench this guy, being that they're in full tank mode. Let us know, Washington or Tucker. One of these PJs is out today, though. I think it's probably Washington. But yeah, there's your first plus EV play. You could take Cam Johnson. I'm going to stay away from it just because I don't like taking props that could potentially tie or push. And Cam looks like a prime candidate for exactly 5 rebounds today based on the odds on the books. So let's find one of these picks that are not one of these push or tie type of props. The first one, Shaedon Sharpe at 3.5 assists. He is suggested we go over at a 54.2% chance for him to go over at 3.5 assists. We talked about all the injuries for the Portland Trail Blazers, right? Pretty much anybody who has a name that is worthy, name worthy, is out for the Portland Trail Blazers today. It's going to be a lot of these guys, a lot of these backups like Shaedon Sharpe. He's at 3.5 assists right now, 54.2% chance that he goes for 4 or more dimes. So let's take a look at a projection on Shaedon Sharpe and see if we've got a favorable projection on him or not. And in this case, we do. He's taking on Minnesota, projected for 3.9 dimes, so 3.9, obviously close to 4. We need 4 or more assists from Sharpe for the over to hit for us. Let me pull up another projection for him. They don't have an assist projection for Shaedon Sharpe. Let me refresh. Maybe they're just lacking here. No assist projection on RotoWire. Let's check NumberFire. NumberFire completely free, by the way, if you guys are looking for a free projection site or source. They've got him projected for 2.2 dimes. Is that right? Let me refresh. So we're seeing some kind of projections all over the place. Yeah, 2.2 assists. All right. Well, 2.2 on one site. I trust these projection models more. Fantasy Labs and Action Labs. This is the one I use the most for NBA. And we're seeing a lot of juice on the over here. I mean, minus 140, minus 145, minus 157. So I feel pretty good about that being one of our first plays of the day. Let me go see if he's still sitting out there at 3.5. Yes, he is. So we could take the over on Shaedon Sharpe. Big plus EV play. Like I mentioned, over a 54% chance, according to the odds on the sports books, that Shaedon Sharpe finds 4 or more dimes today. You guys rocking with this or nah? And we did get confirmation from the live chat that it is PJ Washington ruled out, not PJ Tucker. That's kind of what I thought, man. I think Charlotte's just, finding a reason like, oh, you got a hangnail? That's all right, buddy. You don't have to play tonight. We don't want you to play anyway. We want to lose basketball games. So Shaedon Sharpe's your first pick of the day. By the way, if you have any questions, I see some questions coming through. I'm not going to be able to get to all questions, but if there's a hard-hitting, pressing question, an urgent need or matter that you want to bring to my attention and you want to be featured on today's show and you want to help support today's show, free content here on YouTube, leave a super chat. It'll highlight your comment. It'll guarantee you one-on-one with the great one. I'll help you with your favorite player prop pick or question that you might have, all right? So think about using Super Chat. Open up the live chat window down below it. You'll see a little dollar bill sign. Click on that. For as little as $1.99, I can help answer your question. You can feel good that you're supporting the channel. The next plus EV play up on the board is Jakob Poeltl of the Toronto Raptors. Now, he is sitting at 13.5 points. In this case, over on PrizePicks, we're seeing him at 14.5, however, on most sports books. So we're seeing 1 point of value here. A lower line on PrizePicks versus the sports books, 54.1% chance, according to the optimizer, that Jakob Poeltl has at least 14 points or more. But we did talk about some blowout risk from this game. It is a little sketch, a little scary to take any overs for full game props, being that this game could blow out. Projection-wise, I got Jakob Poeltl projected for 12.3 points. That is less than 14.5 and 13.5. So again, I'm a little leery of this game with the blowout risk and blowout potential that it has here. Toronto should come out, handle business against the Charlotte Hornets. But maybe you go Jakob Poeltl first half points, okay? But still, nonetheless, at 12.3 points, that's kind of not great for his full game number. If he's going to hit, hopefully he hits in the first half for you. But yeah, you could go Jakob Poeltl first half only. Matter of fact, let's go take a look at Jakob Poeltl real quick. I want to see what his first half points line is, and then we could check into the hit rates on that. This game's going to be tipping off in about 40 minutes for those of you who are interested in this play. We got Jakob Poeltl 6.5 points going up against a Charlotte team. Not very good, especially in the middle. It'll probably be Nick Richards getting the starting nod for the Hornets. So pretty easy matchup here for our guy, Jakob Poeltl. So there's his first half. We're going to go to props.cash real quick because I want to take a look at a game log sample size beyond just 5 games. I want to get like 10 games, more games essentially. So props.cash really helps with that. If you guys aren't using this and you want to get all the data that you need for your player prop research, props.cash has baked it all into one easy to use, visually pleasing app here, and it's just $20 a month, man. So Code Curry. Again, we'll save you 25% off of props.cash if you've never used it before. So let's go find Jakob Poeltl here. We want to dig into some of these game logs and kind of see some first half data on my man Jakob Poeltl. He's sitting at, what did we say, 6.5 points here on PrizePicks. 6.5 points. So we're just going to bump this down from 7.5 down to 6.5. Let's look at the last like 30 games. You know, he's still pretty new when it comes to his time with the Toronto Raptors. So he doesn't have a ton of games in his game log. We could even go to the last 10 if you want to guarantee ourselves these are all games in which he's played with Toronto. So the last 10 games, you see him at 5 out of 10, 50% hit rate. He did hit the last time he played against the Charlotte Hornets with 10 first half points on a line of 6.5 today. We saw him just a couple days ago with 12 first half points against Joel Embiid and the Toronto Raptors, or Philadelphia 76ers rather. So yeah, he can get it done. I mean, he would need essentially 7 points. That's like 3-4 buckets. Maybe gets to the free throw line at least once in the first half. But yeah, this is definitely a matchup that he should be able to take advantage of. If we go and take a look at the center spot, no team allowing more points per game to the center position over the last 7 games than these Charlotte Hornets, guys. Almost 31 points per game given up by the Hornets. So Jakob Poeltl, again, in a very favorable matchup here. If you wanted to roll the dice on this particular projection, 6.5 points, I'd probably say take the over here on Poeltl, but I would not touch too many full game props, especially from the Toronto Raptors side. A lot of those stars probably won't play deep into this game. So there's a couple of picks that look pretty solid from what we're seeing so far. Again, Shaedon Sharpe over 3.5 assists. That's a plus EV play. Seeing some mixed projections on that one, but the projection model that I trust most, which is Fantasy Labs and Action Labs, really likes Shaedon Sharpe, closer to 4 assists today. And then Jakob Poeltl, again, #1 matchup for centers when it comes to scoring points against this Charlotte Hornets team. Last 7 games, no team given up more points than the Hornets are to opposing bigs. So I think Poeltl has a good shot of putting the ball in the basket, 3 or 4 times. You'll be in pretty good shape here given the matchup. All right, moving on from Poeltl here. What else do we have on the optimizer? We've got Fred VanVleet. They're suggesting we take the over at 24.5. Again, I'm going to warn you that this game is a blowout. This game starts in about 30 minutes, but it's one of those games, man, where I'm a little concerned that the Toronto Raptors may not be out there for a full run of minutes. So we got 24.5 on PrizePicks for Fred VanVleet's points and rebounds. 54% chance that he does go over. Now, he should have a pretty good matchup. No LaMelo Ball, no Terry Rozier, no Dennis Smith Jr. potentially. We're waiting on his status. So the matchup for Fred VanVleet will be one that will be rather favorable, right? There's not really anybody that the Hornets are going to march out there that's going to slow a guy like Fred VanVleet down. He is projected for 25.6 points and rebounds, which is more than his line of, what do we say, 23.5, 24.5. So you could go over on this play. It is a plus EV play. Let's also pull up another projection for you. I just want to compare. Points and rebounds line 24.5. You're seeing them at 24.3, so a little tighter on that projection, but nonetheless 24.3 and a range up to 25.6 on a site like Action Labs, Fantasy Labs. So you could go this route as well, but again, it's a little concerning with the game being a projected blowout with a spread of 14 points. All right, 14 points, and I think you're going to see more of these Charlotte Hornets get ruled out. Yeah, we got Hayward out, Martin out, Oubre out, Rozier out, Dennis Smith Jr. out, and PJ Washington out, okay? So it's going to be Theo Maledon and Shvi, however you say this guy's last name, Shvi, all right? Theo Maledon against Fred VanVleet today. That is your confirmed starting lineup. So I'm not really worried about the matchup for Fred VanVleet, but you gotta hope, rather, that Fred VanVleet is the reason why that Toronto blows Charlotte out, right? That's what you're hoping when you take the over. So Spicy P's birthday, Pascal Siakam's birthday, for those of you who are just joining here. So you got some birthday narrative for Pascal Siakam, for those of you who believe that blowing out the candles means you're going to blow your projections out of the water. Maybe he does tonight, but there you go. There's some information for you on Fred VanVleet. 24.5 points and rebounds. The over looking like a plus EV play. Scotty Barnes, PRA. That's another one here. 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Again, they say take the over. We saw Scotty Barnes have himself a very good game the last time he took the floor. We're getting a 1-point discount on PrizePicks on Scotty Barnes, PRA. He's at 29.5 on your favorite sports books, just 28.5 here on PrizePicks. 54% chance, we're going to round up slightly on the 53.96 and call it 54% chance that Scotty Barnes goes for more than 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So you guys are probably wondering, how does he project today? Is it well? Is it bad? Let's go look. He's projected for 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists on a line of 28.5. So one PRA higher on his projection than his line at 28.5 on PrizePicks. Getting you one more projection because I'm thorough. Okay, what I do is thorough. This projection has Scotty Barnes at 26.8. They got him going under 28.5. So one projection source over, one projection source under. So you can feel free to fade Scotty Barnes if you're not feeling good about the discrepancy in projections for him today. Nick Claxton, under 13.5 points. Brooklyn Nets big man, 53.92%. Again, we'll round up. We'll call it 54% chance that he stays under 13.5 points. The Brooklyn Nets, and again, another one of those teams that are expected to blow out their opponent today. They're facing the Utah Jazz. He'll be matched up with defensive big man Walker Kessler today. So Claxton may have his hands full against Walker Kessler, already one of the best young defenders at the center position in the league in just his first season. I think he's made for a fine replacement for Rudy Gobert. What do you guys think? Walker Kessler better than Rudy Gobert already? Kind of. I mean, possibly. But nonetheless, Nick Claxton's matchup not looking like a favorable one. Let's pull some projections up on Nick Claxton's points at 13.5. We got one projection here that has him at 14.7 points. Whew. Well, that's more than 13.5. I'm not loving that. But we are starting to see Nick Claxton's line at 12.5 on some of these sports books. So he's a betting favorite to go under at 13.5. We're seeing him at 12.5 on some of these sports books. So maybe PrizePicks is a touch too high at 13.5. With these sports books, these lines makers having them at 12.5, it kind of does make you think maybe we should be taking the under here. Here's another projection on Nick Claxton's points, though. 17 projected points. Gee whiz. All right, that's going to be a fade for me. I can't take the under with these projections having them at 14.7, as high as 17 points. I can't feel good about taking the under at 12.5, 13.5 points. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to move on from that one and try to find something that looks a little bit better. One that's a plus EV play that is also projecting in our favor. How about Killian Hayes points, rebounds, and assists here? We got him at 22.5 PRA. Killian Hayes and the Detroit Pistons, another one of those teams that are in full-on tank mode. Killian Hayes, his chance to go over this PRA line of 22.5 sits at about 53.8. Again, really close to 54%. Let's see if we got him projected for more than 22.5 or less. 22.9, that is slightly more. That's closer to 23 PRA. So that first projection is in agreement with the way that the optimizer says to play this prop. In other words, taking the over against my Orlando Magic tonight. Let's get you one more projection. We'll run it through a couple models and make sure we're on the right side of this thing here. And it looks like Killian Hayes at 22.5 PRA has a projection of 25.3. So yes, we could check off the first box. It's plus EV. The second box, is it projecting well? It is on two different sites. So there's nothing more for us to do than just to go out here and find Killian Hayes and take his PRA and hope he comes out and balls, right? I mean, we can't make the shots for him. We can't make him rebound. We can't make him drop dimes. But mathematically speaking, we are on the right side of this pick. The odds are in our favor. And that's all we can ask for. We got projections in our favor. I mean, our money's getting in good here on Killian Hayes over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'm just a weird OCD type, so I'm going to leave Pirtle off because I don't like mixing my first half with my full game. make it make sense. I don't know. That's just the way I roll, folks. But we got 2 picks right here that are both full game that look pretty decent. Plus EV plays projecting favorably for the most part. So those are looking pretty good. Let's run through this list here, and then I'll take these super chats that are coming in. Guys, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you supporting using the super chat functionality. Again, it helps support free content here on YouTube. And if you guys want to support in a bigger, more meaningful way, well, that's what Patreon's for. And again, I'm posting cheat sheets every day that help you with finding the edges, projections versus PrizePicks lines. I'm putting them out for MLB, for NBA, so different sports, and then we're also posting more plus EV picks for you, just like one-off picks. We had a well over 65% hit rate last month. Looking to run that back with both NBA and MLB in full swing. And then, of course, I'm doing giveaways every week for Patreon members, giving away over 50 risk-free 2-pick power plays every single month. You get those 2-pick power plays added to your PrizePicks account. You get both picks right, you win $100. So that's exclusive for Patreon. So I'm giving as much as I can on Patreon. And if you guys want to give back and support the channel, feel free to join Patreon. Link down in the description below. I appreciate it in advance. All right, other plus EV plays. We got Joel Embiid at 10.5 boards. They're saying take the under here on Embiid. Under on the process. He's taking on the Milwaukee Bucks today, so he'll have his hands full against both Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he'll see some Bobby Portis. All right, so he's going to have his hands full. 10.5 boards, 53.8% chance, according to the optimizer, that Embiid stays under 10.5 rebounds. Let's go see if that makes any sense. I know you guys get hypnotized by my sultry, savory voice, but as my man Sean says, Sean's saying that 70% of the watchers need to slap the like button. Run those likes up, guys. I'm putting you on game. I'm putting you on plus EV, favorable picks. It's got to be worth something. It's got to be at least worth a like, right? You know what I'm doing here for you? I think it is, man. I'm providing some valuable content. If you're finding any value, then yes, at any time when you feel froggy, you go ahead and hit that like button. Joel Embiid projected for 10.8 boards. We talked about the under on his 10.5 rebounds being the plus EV way. All right, he's projected for 10.8. That's really close to the 10.5 number. So he's in the neck of the woods, the ballpark of the 10.5 rebounds. Let's get you one more projection here just to see if it's going over or under. 10.8 here too, friends. All right, so 10.5 is his line, 10.8 is his projection. So that's pretty close. But the plus EV way to go here, say we throw the projections out the window, would be to take the under on Embiid at 10.5 boards. It's now down to 10. So there you go. It's already been bumped down. There you go. So it's already been bumped down. Somebody got in there good. Some folks grabbed the under at 10.5. That's where this optimizer comes in. It'll get you on these plus EV plays before the rest of the world, and you can get the value. You can grab the value before it gets away. It's like Pokemon, man. You got to catch them all, right? Well, you could beat Ash Ketchum himself with the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Again, go get it. Link down in the description. Save yourself $5 too when you use code Curry. Evan Mobley, Cleveland Cavaliers big man, 9.5 boards. They're saying take the over. We're waiting on Jarrett Allen news. I don't think he's been ruled in or ruled out just yet, but Evan Mobley at 9.5 boards, almost a 54% chance that he goes over 9.5 rebounds today. If Jarrett Allen is out, then for sure, fire it up. I am a little skeptical if Allen plays, if Mobley is the man who can get us over that rebound number. Right now, his projected rebounds, 8.2, going up against the Indiana Pacers. That's another thing to really point out. We're waiting on Miles Turner news, too. So we need to see if Turner's in, and we also need to see if Jarrett Allen is in for Cleveland. But right now, 8.2 rebounds for my guy, Evan Mobley. So 8.2, not a very favorable projection on a guy who is currently being bet to the high heavens on the over. But here's another projection for you, 11.5. All right, so you're seeing quite a big gap here. 8.2 rebound projection, 11.5 rebound projection. That's a huge differential. I'm gonna leave this one alone just because I don't like how all over the place these projections are. But as soon as that Miles Turner and Jared Allen news drops, I think I would jump on the over for Evan Mobley at 9.5 rebounds. What are you guys thinking? Mobley over? If we get the Turner Allen news and they're both out, I think that makes some sense today. And then speaking of another plus EV play, we've got Daniel Gafford here, Washington Wizards center. His rebounds and assists line set at 8.5, giving him about a 53.7% chance that he goes over. We already mentioned all the injuries for the Washington Wizards. I'm talking about Kyle Kuzma, Bradley Beal, Monty Morris, Kristaps Porzingis. All those guys ruled out. So maybe Daniel Gafford, more rebound opportunities. Maybe he picks up an assist or two. Slightly more usage for him. Not going to be a guy who has the basketball in his hands a whole lot unless he's grabbing rebounds, right? But a 53.7% chance that he clears the 8.5 rebounds and assists number. So let's go pull up a couple projections just to kind of see what these models have to say. Gafford, 8.9 projected rebounds and assists, taking on the New York Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, no Julius Randle for the Knicks. So you're going to see a lot of Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, maybe some Obi Toppin in the mix in that front court for New York. But this is a solid start, 8.9 projected rebounds and assists. Let's pull another one up here. See how that's looking. 8.5 is the line, 11.1 rebounds and assists according to RotoWire. So 8.9 to 11.1 is kind of your projection range or window on a 8.5 rebound and assist line here for Daniel Gafford taking on New York. So I think that one's looking solid as well. I'm going to throw that one in there. I like that projection. I like the fact that he'll have more opportunities to get his hands on the basketball without the four main starters and stars for the Washington Wizards. So there's 3 plus EV projecting well on all 3 of those. Let's try to build out a 6 pick. You guys want to go 5 or 6 today? Let me know in the chat, live chat. Those of you who are watching here, 5 picks or 6? We're going to push our luck. We're going to go from 10x possibly up to 25x. You guys let me know what you want to do. We'll try to find 6 if you want 6. All right, I mentioned we had a couple of super chats to take care of. Let's do that now. Appreciate you guys being patient. High Flyers wanting to go over on Ja Morant's points. First and foremost, thank you, my friend, for the super chat. Means a lot to me for you guys that are leaving these super chats. Ja Morant. Over on points. Listen, I played the over on his PRA the other night, and Ja Morant, I mean, he started in everything, played plenty of minutes. Ja Morant looked terrible the other night. As far as him like stuffing the stat sheet, there was no stuffing. No stuffing for Ja Morant. So I'm a little sketched out by him, to be honest with you, but let me go ahead and refresh this thing. We'll punch in Ja Morant's name. We'll first and foremost answer the ever important question: is his points prop, going over on his points prop, a plus EV move or not? And in this case, it is. Positive expected value plus EV. 52.6% chance, according to the optimizer, that Morant gets 25 or more points. Okay. So far, I'm okay with this. So far, I'm okay with it. But you know me. I got to run it through a couple of projection models. I want to see how these models have Ja Morant projecting today. Well, this one looks good. He's going up against Chicago tonight. We know the Bulls, not very scary defensively. 26.8 projected points for Ja Morant on the road today against Chicago. This is one of the few games that is expected to stay somewhat close and competitive as well. A lot of blowout games. This is not one of them. This is one of the games where, you know, with a spread of what, less than 5 points, 2.5 point spread on a total of 229. Now, we could probably feel okay about Ja Morant going over his points prop in a game that should stay close and competitive, right? So the first projection's looking good here for Morant, 26.8, but we're not stopping there. I like to aggregate these projections, kind of get an idea, a range of outcomes, projected outcomes. Here's a 26.7 projection for him. So 26.7, 26.8, both of those numbers are more than 24.5 by at least 2 points. So I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to go with High Flyers recommendation here. I think it checks out as a plus EV, well projected play. Even though Ja Morant kind of burned me in that last game, he only had 10 points against the Clippers. after going for 36 points in that previous game against the Clippers. This could be a good bounce back spot for my man, Ja. All right, so we got 4 picks in there so far. You guys have said you wanted to push this thing up to 6 picks if we can do it. If we can find 6 strong ones, I'm going to push it up to 6 strong ones. We got 4 so far. Let's try to find 5 and 6 before these suckers run away from us, right? We got another super chat coming through. My guy Jalen Williams, over 3.5 assists at home. He's 8 out of his last 10. So everyday fantasy coming through again. Big salute to you, Everyday Fantasy. Thank you for leaving the super chat here for Jalen Williams. So let's run it through our different checks, right? We want to run it through our different checkpoints and see if this Jalen Williams pick makes sense to take on PrizePicks. His assists at 3.5. OKC Thunder, Jalen Williams, Jalen, not Jaylin, not the other guy, not the other Jalen Williams, who's not quite as good. We're talking about the better of the 2 Williams boys. 51% chance, we rounded up a little bit, 51% chance that he goes over 3.5 dimes. OKC, still in the playoff hunt, still in the playoff picture. So far, yes. Is it the most plus EV play? No, not the most plus EV play, but it is, however, technically a plus EV play. I've got it projected for 4.3 dimes on at least one model here. We need 4 or more assists from Jalen Williams. And so far, this one's checking out. Let's grab one more projection. One more. Because one's never enough. This one's got him projected for about 3.2 dimes. If we round it up just a little bit. Not a lot, baby girl. Just a little bit. 3.2 to 4.3. But, historically speaking, like Everyday Fantasy said, Jalen Williams at 3.5 assists, he says, has gone over in 8 out of his last 10 games. So let's go peep that, right? Sometimes seeing is believing, and that's where a site like props.cash makes visualizing what Jalen Williams has been doing with this assist prop very easy for us. So let's just look at like the last 30 games here. At 3.5 assists, last 30 games, he's gone over in 53% of his games. I mean, if we could look at the last like 15 games, you'd see an even higher hit rate here. I mean, he's hit the over in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of his last 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 13 out of his last 18. That's pretty good. He's played Phoenix twice already this season, my friends. He's gone over in both games against the Suns. Recent games too, February 24th, March 19th, he's gone over 3.5 dimes in both games. 2 for 2 against Phoenix. Now, to my man Everyday Fantasy's point, he wanted us to take a look at the home games here. Home games, he's gone over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of his last 12. So you said 8 out of his last 10, which is good, but also 10 out of his last 12, even bigger sample size when he plays at home. So I'm going to go with it. I know that one projection was looking a little funky, but I'm going to go with it because of what we're seeing here historically. 2 for 2 against the Suns. He's hit the over in 10 out of his last 12 games playing at home. I think it's worth a shot on our entry so far. So we got Shaden Sharp over 3.5 assists. Jalen Williams now over at 3.5 assists. Killian Hayes over 22.5 PRA. Gafford over 8.5 rebounds and assists. And Ja Morant projecting well for 26 or more points on 2 different models. We took more at 24.5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more. One more pick to put the bow on this thing here. B-Don saying he thinks Ja is a question of minutes. Like, you're not sure like how many minutes he's going to get. I mean, that could very well be why he's, not performing well lately. Everyday Fantasy says always go for the 6. Roy, Jermaine, Todd all saying 6 for Sunday Funday. Michael's wanting to run the 25X. All right. Cross Toasty. Yes, we just talked that Jalen Williams talk with that 3.5 assists. We're taking the over on that one. Lake Boy Lecrae saying, what about LeBron James and his PRA? I got Cross Toasty asking about LeBron James and his RA, rebounds and assists. So you guys have a couple of different ways you want to go on Mr. King James today. Let's look at that real quick. LeBron James, 13.5 RA, rebounds and assists. And then the other one was the PRA. Do we trust King James right now for either of these? Let me know. I'm going to look at Lake Boy's suggestion of the PRA for LeBron, 39.5. Let's run this one real quick first. LeBron James, the rebounds and assists, technically speaking, is the more plus EV play than the PRA would be, all right? So a 50% chance that he goes under, actually, on 39.5 PRA, but a 52.5% chance that he goes over on the rebounds and assists. So for me, I want the one that has the better chance of hitting. And in this case, it looks like it's the rebounds and assists versus the PRA. I'd rather have the rebounds and assists, according to what I'm seeing here. All right, so let's go look at it real quick. Let's pull up LeBron James. 13.5 is the line. The projection, 12.9. What about the PRA? All right, the projection, 38.7. So got a couple of unders here on both of these LeBron James options. Wonder why that is. Let's go and pull out some more projections for you. We got PRA 39.5 projected for 39.9. We got the RA, rebounds and assists, at 13.5 projected for 14.3. Okay. So the RotoWire models liken LeBron a little bit more than the Fantasy Lab models are. But again, just strictly speaking from a plus EV standpoint, the LeBron rebounds and assists is the better option for the rebounds. Is the better option versus the points, rebounds, and assists. So if you're going to take either one of these, it looks like the rebounds and assists is probably the better way to go, according to the data that we have here from these sports books. Now, Jeremiah is saying LeBron's rebounds. That's another move. LeBron's rebounds are at 7.5, 52.1% chance that he goes for 7.5 or more boards. I got him projected for 7.1 and 8.6. So again, the Fantasy Labs models are not giving LeBron a lot of love today. They don't like a lot of the overs. Michael, thank you for leaving that sticker for me. I appreciate that. Thanks for supporting free content. He's asking about De'Aaron Fox under fantasy score. Okay, we'll take a look at De'Aaron Fox. We haven't talked to any fantasy score today, so let's do that now. De'Aaron Fox fantasy score. Something that they've added recently are fantasy projections here on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So let's look at that real quick if they have them. Nothing for fantasy score yet? Okay, no problem. Well, let's take LeBron off for right now because we're kind of torn on him. I think we're kind of torn on him. De'Aaron Fox, you want to go over on his fantasy score? We talked about the huge blowout implications and blowout risk, right? Oh, no, you want to go under, excuse me. Under on the fantasy score. Because of the blowout, potentially, right? 43.5 is his number today. We talked about this game. Huge spread here. Sacramento favored by 17 points over San Antonio today. It does have a 244-point total, though. Kind of concerning. 244-point total means lots of stats will be recorded by both teams. But you want to go under. I think you're playing the blowout play, which makes sense, right? Maybe it does turn into a blowout. Let's pull up a few different projections here. We're going to go first on the fantasy score. De'Aaron Fox, 44 on a line of, what did we say? 43.5, so slightly more at 44 than 43.5 according to Fantasy Labs. What about Number Fire? Let's pull Number Fire up. We haven't used Number Fire a ton today. They've got him projected for 41.5. Again, that line is at 43.5. So we got one projection at 44, one projection at 41.5. So far we're 1-1. What do they say? What does RotoWire say? Nothing for the fantasy score? Okay. I guess it's going to be a tie then. One projection over, slightly. one projection under by quite a bit of a bigger margin on De'Aaron Fox. I'm just going to leave it alone, man. I think with 13 games, we could probably do better. Well, there you go. There's a bump down for De'Aaron Fox. Somebody must have been watching. Somebody was feeling good about De'Aaron Fox on the under, because it just went from 43.5 down to 41.5 right before our very eyes here. So, Michael, I know you were liking the under on De'Aaron Fox at 43.5. Hopefully you took it. Hopefully you got in good with the 43.5 since you were liking that under. But it is now 41.5. So I'm definitely leaving it alone at this point. I don't like playing those bumps. Here's what we got so far. Shaedon Sharpe over 3.5 assists. Hayes over 22.5 PRA. Gafford over 8.5 rebounds and assists. Ja over 24.5 points. And Jalen Williams over 3.5 dimes. Okay, that's what we got. Patrick saying Curry is money. Now I'm confused. I don't know if you're talking about me. I don't know if you're talking about my cousin Steph Curry. I don't know which Curry you're talking about here. Maybe you're talking about me. I try to be money whenever I can be. What else we got? Everyday Fantasy. He's brought out the sirens, right? He brought out the red light on us for the true Eubanks stocks. He's saying Eubanks steals and blocks is 100% in the last 5 games. Let's go take a look at those real quick. First and foremost, we've got to ask ourselves, is Eubanks plus EV or no? In this case, he is, but it is not the most plus EV option that you can find here. Okay. 50.6% chance that he goes over 1.5 blocks and steals, according to the way that the odds are on the sports books. And comparing those to PrizePicks, right? 50.6% chance that he goes over these 1.5 blocks and steals. Let me go look at something here. I think I got some blocks and steals projections here. Let's look at Eubanks real quick. 1.6 on a line of 1.5. There's one projection for you. Slightly more. I wish it was higher. How about this one? Eubanks blocks, steals, 1.5 projected for 1.24. So these are not off the chart projections for Eubanks to go over, but I think you're approaching this as more of like a hit rate play, right? I think for you, you're looking at the hit rates and are thinking Eubanks could possibly get it done tonight. Just taking a look at these hit rates for Eubanks. Obviously, he's going to be thrust into a much bigger role tonight with all of the injuries to the Portland Trail Blazers. We have seen Eubanks hit this over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games to my guy Everyday Fantasy's point. If we back it up a little bit further here, 6 out of his last 8 games, he's hit the over as well. At home, last 10 home games, 8 out of 10, 80%. Maybe he likes blocking shots better at home than he does away for whatever reason. His last 10 away games, just 2 for 10. So seems to find a couple more blocks when he's at Portland. But tonight he's going to be on the road. I don't think splits matter a whole lot when it comes to steals and blocks. And then here's his last 3 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. December 10th, just 1 steal and block. December 12th, 2 steals and blocks. And more recently, January 4th, recorded 3 steals and blocks versus Minnesota. So 2 out of 3 against the T-Wolves. I'll be honest with you, I was kind of more interested in his points. I don't know if they're still at 9.5 like they were the other night, but at 9.5, I was kind of digging his points. Let me take a look and see what they are on PrizePicks real quick. Eubanks. Yeah, he's at 9.5 on PrizePicks. He was able to put up more than 9.5 points in just 1/2 against Sacramento and Domantas Sabonis the other night. Now he's playing against Minnesota tonight. A little tougher matchup potentially against the likes of Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, right? Probably better defensively than a Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray front court would be. But let's look into Eubanks real quick. Does he get the plus EV stamp of approval? He actually does here at a 52% chance that he goes over 9.5 points. So that is a more plus EV play than his blocks and steals. 52% chance that he goes over 9.5 points. So let's check out some projections on Eubanks real quick. Boom, there's one. 12.8 projected points against Minnesota on a line of 9.5 currently on PrizePicks. I like that. That's 3 projected for 3 more points. That's a good look. And then we also have his points here at 9.5 projected for 10.54 according to RotoWire. And heck, while we're at it, man, let's just jump on number fire real quick on Eubanks. They got Eubanks projected for 10.7 points. That's 3 for 3 on projection models. We know it's plus EV, 3 for 3 on 3 projection sites. Guys, I don't know what else we can do here. We're getting our money in rather good on Drew Eubanks at 9.5 points. That could be our 6th play of the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What else do we need? I mean, there's a lot of props, but I mean those are 6 solid ones right there. Now you don't have to go crazy on this. For me, I'm happy with just throwing 10 in, seeing if we could get 250 out on a 6 for 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Again, don't feel any pressure to take all 6 of these. Maybe there's 1 or 2 that really caught your attention that you're feeling better about. Maybe you don't like all 6 of them. I'm gonna throw them all in there though and see what happens. Everyday Fantasy saying that both Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards are possibly out today. Maybe that helps Drew Eubanks out a little bit with no Karl Anthony Towns in there. I'm not mad at that. Todd Live for Sunday says, you do so much for all of us for free. Please just take this for whatever, and let's hope we all make it a Sunday to remember. Thanks for the 2 entries from you too. You are welcome, my friend. Appreciate your patience on those. I will definitely be getting those risk-free entries out to everybody who has won recently. Again, if you want to win a risk-free 2-pick power play like my man Christian Frazier right here, all you got to do is be a subscriber, slap that like button, and then once I end today's video podcast, go to the replay of today's show. Leave a comment with your favorite pick, prop, or play of the day. Maybe somebody sees it and they tail it and they end up winning because of you. Or you could just say something nice in the comment section. However you want to approach it, it's up to you. But you just got to do those 3 things. Subscribe, like, leave a comment on the replay of today's show. All right. And shout out again to Christian Frazier. Christian, if you're watching, send me a DM with your PrizePicks email address and we will get you set up with that risk-free 2-pick power play. Get both picks right, win $100. All right, I'm gonna get out of here though, guys. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock. We've been at this for over an hour. Go check out my MLB video. I posted a 6-pick flex play to win 25 times your money for MLB today. So if you're looking for some baseball plays, look for today's baseball video. It's on my YouTube channel, and go show some love. Slap that like button while you're there. Leave me a friendly little comment, a little hello if you feel up to it, okay? And I'm gonna call it quits for now. But if you're in Patreon, Discord, guys, you know the drill. I'm going to be putting out cheat sheets. I'm going to be putting out picks. And then we're going to be getting to the money, all right? So good luck on all your entries, and we'll catch you tomorrow for another video. Peace.